I'm going to show you how to make a half treble crochet in the third loop. In US terms, that would be half double crochet in the third loop. It makes this lovely squishy fabric with these sideways V's on them, and it's a little more condensed than a standard half treble because of where you're placing your hook for that initial placement, but you can do colour work with it and it creates a nice squishy but warm without being overly dense fabric. So let's show you how to make it. Just a little caveat that this is a stitch that really only works in the round because that third loop is always on the wrong side of your work. I've got a little mini swatch here that I have worked up for you just for ease of showing you in something smaller. And normally you would work your hook into the front and the back loops at the top of the stitch, but that is not what you do with a half treble in the third loop. What you want to do is slightly rotate your work forward so that you're not using the front and the back loops, and what you'll find is that there's actually a third horizontal bar that sits at the back, and that is where you're going to make your half treble, half double into. So it takes a little bit of getting used to because you're always rotating that work forward. But what that means is after you've worked that stitch, that front and back loop that went unworked basically sit at the front. So exactly the same as a standard half treble, half double, you start with the yarn around hook and then you place your hook from the front to the back through that third loop. Yarn around hook and pull up a loop. You'll have 3 loops on your hook, yarn around hook, pull through all 3 loops, and that's it. It's that simple. You have left those unworked front and back loops, they have rotated towards the front, and you've simply made your half treble, half double into the third loop. And you can see where those back loops are already rotating forward for the next. So let's go again. Yarn around hook, hook from front to back into that third loop at the wrong side of your work, yarn around hook, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn around hook and pull through all 3 loops to finish. Again, yarn around hook, miss out the front and the back loops, put your hook from the front to the back into the third loop on the wrong side of your work, yarn around hook, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn around hook and pull through all 3 loops to finish. And that is it. But it creates this amazing squishy fabric. It looks like the height of a half treble when you finished it, but when you work into the next round, it pushes that top of the fabric forward and condenses the overall round, and you can see how that then eventually looks in a bigger project in my rocker cowl.